Hey buddy, if I look a little shaggy, it's because I've been on a mower for the last 6 hours, so I'm definitely rough looking. Anyway, here we go. Naya is my fav, says my dog gave birth, has eclampsia, and the problem is that ever since she was born, she was sick of the weakest puppy. I guess you're talking about one of the puppies now. She's always threw up after a meal. I gave her milk and eggs and crushed up a pill that had calcium. She threw it all up. I feel like she can't produce enough milk and the puppies can't eat. I don't know what to do. Well, look, if your dog has eclampsia, you need to go to the vet and go get a test done to find out what a calcium level is, and then she needs an infusion. They give a drip, give an IV of calcium IV. Dogs with eclampsia can get in big trouble, and you don't want to muck around with this because you can lose the mums. You can go into seizures. If she's nursing, it'll make it even worse. But you can get it fixed quickly with an IV drip. So don't muck around, go to the vet. Matthew Stubbs, how do you get a C-section for $250 to $300? I pay $1,600 to $2,600. You live in Oklahoma. Or if you live in North Texas, you can get that deal too. So there's a few places in Texas. The one in Texas that I don't use, because it's too far away from me, is actually in the south part of south on I-35, just inside Oklahoma on the Texas border, is at Durant Animal Hospital. So that's one place that's close to you Texans. Okay. Cream De Niro, what is the difference between KB, KY, and KBR? Okay, so there's 3 genes on the K locus, and their dominant one is KB, which can produce black dogs. Dependent on, and it's dominant, and it basically stops anything on the A gene from showing up. So dogs that would be tan points will no longer be tan points if they have just one copy of KB. The same thing is for KBR, is the same thing. KBR is the one that's responsible for brindle. There is not a test from animal genetics for KBR. You can infer it though, and any time that I see a dog with KB, almost always those dogs are brindle and produce brindle puppies in their litters. KY is non-brindle, and in my opinion that's what you want. You want a dog that's KY. Lauria O'Sullivan, thank you so much for your videos, a gold mine of info, really appreciate taking my time. My question is in regard to registration certificates. Maybe it's a silly question. How can you tell the certification you're being shown is for a puppy, dame, or stud dog you're interested in? I understand there's an element of trust involved, but from being around animal industries in general, you learn there are people happy to pull the wool over your eyes. Perhaps there is no way to be sure. Well, there is a way to be sure, and I'll tell you about it here in a second. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So, and then you said, I thought of maybe buying a microchip reader and bringing that with me. That's not going to do you any good. So a microchip reader, all it will do is show that somebody's got a tag number that corresponds to the microchip in the dog, so they can prove ownership of a dog. It doesn't tell you anything about registration. Anybody can register, anybody can microchip a mutt. Nothing wrong with mutts and nothing wrong with microchipping them, but all it does is prove ownership. That doesn't do you any good. What you should do is you should ask for the AKC number of the dog that you're breeding to. Any dog that is AKC registered will have an AKC number, and then you can go to the AKC website and you can find out whether that dog physically exists. You can find out whether that dog has been registered. So that's the secret to this, is to get the AKC number. Now if you're buying a puppy, remember that puppy may not have had registration papers yet, so that won't do you any good. But in that situation, you can ask to see the AKC number of both of the parents, and that will give you an idea that somebody's on the up and up. Somebody else asking about that's okay. Trent M. I had a female that had an emergency C-section, but unfortunately she aborted a pup beforehand with no signs of labour after 2 weeks. She was still having blood in her urine all the time, and the vet ended up putting her on antibiotics twice. Could this be the cause for not to come in heat on a regular schedule, like clockwork every 5.5 months? Could it be because she has a litter this time that has pushed it out to almost 7 months, or because the trauma of losing a puppy? I know that some mamas losing a litter can hit them harder than others. Yeah, well, I mean, first off is that, although it may be really regular, and some dogs are, every 6 months, some dogs are every 7 months, it can vary. I don't think that the antibiotics or losing some puppies, those things would be a cause for necessarily for a dog to be longer on a next heat cycle. Just one of those things. And I mean, what do you do? I mean, nothing. You just wait, and it all dog comes back in heat. Don't set your watch by dog's heat cycles, because you're going to miss some appointments if you do that. But I mean, certainly, if a dog historically goes into heat every 6 months, it's good to put it in your calendar so you know what's going on. So either you can get that dog bred if you want to, or you don't mistakenly get that dog bred by some other stray dog. I think that answers your question. Oh, traveling around doing the seminars would be regarding breeding would be amazing. Yeah, well, we're thinking about this. So if we do this, we may do some seminars all around the country. If we do this, then we'll let everybody know about it, and it's not going to be for another few months before it even starts up. GF Kennels, Combs. Puppy is eating but still not gaining weight. Suggestions, they are 5 days old. Yes. If puppies puppies need to gain half an ounce or more every day. If they're not gaining half an ounce, then it's time to supplement with goat's milk. And either you can bottle feed if they'll take it, or you can tube feed if they won't. Typically, a puppy should be consuming about 1/30 of its weight every feeding every 3 hours. So that equates to a 10-ounce puppy would get 10 mils or 10 cc's every 3 hours. So if a puppy's nursing on mum, you cut that back a little bit if you're going to supplement with a bottle. If you supplement with a bottle, a puppy will stop feeding when it's had enough. But if you're tube feeding, you want to make sure that you do it correctly, and I've got videos show you how to do that. Tammy's moving stuff back there. Edwin Jesus. My female gave birth to 5 puppies 2 days ago. She's been good nursing the puppies and cleaning them. However, she will only drink water and won't eat any food. What can I do to get her to eat? I would start, so that you do find this happens quite a bit, where dogs are still having the effects of anesthesia, and they're just not feeding very well or at all for the first 48 hours. What can you do? One is that you can hand feed. That tends to work quite well. Where a dog wouldn't be eating food, they may take some food from your hand and hand feed. So that's one thing. And the other thing would be change the diet up. Give them something that is special. If they on kibble, give them some wet food. Boil up some chicken and rice. Change the diet up and see if that will get them to eat. And I think that pretty much gets us up to where we need to be. So thanks for watching. Bye, everybody. Happy Father's Day to all you daddies out there. Bye. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.